the words of Johnny Ringo. Alright, let's do it now. That was a neat little tombstone deep cut there, you know. I made a complete arse of it. What a start to the show. Hello and welcome into this Tuesday's Movie News. I am Jonathan C. Walsh, here to discuss, well, Doctor Strange primarily, but the world of Hollywood. Movies. The movies. And beyond. There's no beyond tonight, it's really just movies. And Hollywood, more specifically, the MCU. Because it's nice, safe content for me to touch upon. Content where I'm not going to stretch myself overly. I know I can speak about it, that I'm coherent on the subject. And it can just, like a book, open and close. Let's get some opening of cans. Yes, that would have been very loud, and I do apologise for anyone's eardrums watching us, which have now burst, the blood that is now running down the side of your head. But look, Multiverse of Madness, we are only 2 days out from this movie releasing over here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. That is if Vladimir doesn't drop a nuke on us. And see, to be honest with you, I've been watching the propaganda from Russia, and I'm getting a little bit fucking fed up with Vladimir. He's a bitch. Come at me, KGB. Come the fuck at me. Do your worst. Ain't going to happen. We're going to get to see Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and I'm very excited for this movie. Spoke about it last night. I asked Stephen a number of questions regarding, I was about to say regards and regarding, and I combined the two. That's something I like to do a lot on here, so buckle the fuck in. That's going to be a prominent feature of shows with me. Regarding this movie, I'll go back and correct myself. Regarding cameos in this movie, I asked Stephen about Tom Cruise. Would he like to see a Tom Cruise variant of Tony Stark? A darker, more enigmatic, more totalitarian Tony Stark. A man who has used all of his philanthropist ways for wrongdoings. Stephen didn't want to see it. I'd actually be quite open to seeing something like that. I am more open to Tom Cruise as a human being than Stephen is, though, admittedly. Where am I going with this? We've been speaking about this fucking movie for a long time, and it is coming out in a couple of days, and that means the reviews from the critiques are invariably going to be coming out, and out they have came. They have cometh into our lives, and as you can see, calling it unique but frantic. Now, there is not a unison singing from the same hymn sheet regards this movie and its critical response. There are a few naysayers in here. There are some people who flat out don't like this movie. Now, I don't know if Andy Behbacht of Screen Rant fame has picked out some of those dissenting voices. I have skimmed over this article merely. I am using this as a conduit to a greater discussion of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness 2 days out from its release. But believe me when I say there is some naysaying dissenting voices in here. It's got 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. The last I checked, that's from 99 reviews. Admittedly, I went down. There's over 100 reviews now posted. Has it changed? Let's refresh it. It's down to 79%. That's the kind of fucking content that I am bringing on this show. I'm going to give you real-time, blow-by-blow analysis of this movie's tomato meter score, if that's your thing. It's dropped 2% in 45 minutes. That should be a concern to Sam Raimi, Kevin Feige, Benedict Cumberbatch, everybody involved in this movie. As you can see here, the critical consensus. I'm just going to do this briefly, very, very briefly, before I go into the actual reviews, and I'll touch upon them as well, because I want to get some dissenting voices in here. I don't want to be deemed a pure sycophant for Disney Marvel, although I am. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and then just weigh in whether that's something that's affecting my judgment going into this movie. I'll give you a hint, it ain't, but we'll do it anyway. Critical consensus: Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness labours under the weight of the sprawling MCU. Sam Raimi's distinctive direction, cast and entertaining Now, you have got a couple of dissenting voices. I'm going to do my very best, we're going to stick to ones on the left because I am blocking the ones on the right. In terms of Raimi's back catalogue, it's more Spider-Man 3 than The Evil Dead. That's concerning Kevin Mayer of Times fame. I personally loved The Evil Dead. I thought it was a great movie. Really innovative, different horror. Of course, Ash, I believe it was, the main man. It was gory. It was violent. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot. Spider-Man 3, not so much. A bloated, unfulfilling superhero movie that left us wanting not only more from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but more from the villains. We get a number of villains in that movie, and not one of them was really done justice. So I would hope that is where the similarities end. It's maybe just a bloated movie and it feels slightly unfulfilling. Let's hope that's where it ends. Hopefully it's a better movie than Spider-Man 3. Kevin Mayer has gave it a 2 out of 5. Admittedly, I don't know who the fuck Kevin Mayer is. I'm going to do a couple of negative ones here because I'm pretty sure Screen Rant will be glossing over and doing mostly positive. So I'm going to get... This is what this is about. I'm discussing reviews. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. There may be a universe in which I feel the barest thread of emotional connection to even one thing that happens during the 126 minutes of loud, smeary nonsense that is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I doubt it. This is Globe and Mail. Now, you've got to prefix this with one important fact, and that is these guys here, Globe and Mail, Times, they are not the type of people this movie is designed for. It's designed for guys like me who love the characters, who are invested fully in the universe, in the little trivial fan service moments. These guys, they're going for artsy, Oscar baiting movies. That's their sort of film porn. That's what they go for. These guys do not go. These guys are firmly in the Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese camps when it comes to comic book movies. They are praying down on their knees, praying to whatever fucking god that they worship, that these movies, their sort of golden era, will come tumbling down and we can get back to Meg Ryan rom-coms. So Johanna Schneller, without even knowing who she is, if it's a she, I don't fucking trust these people. I don't trust the good and the bad from these critics. That's why I usually go in and use my brain and my eyes and I work it out myself what I feel for a movie. But that doesn't make for good content on a movie news show. We've got to talk about something. And tonight I'm talking about this. So we'll do one more negative Nancy. Then I will go off and tackle the Screen Rant article and delve into some of the reviews in there which are more in depth and hopefully more uplifting and wetting of the anticipatory juices. Sidiano, there will be news on that very shortly indeed. There's much editing getting done. I don't want to let the cat out the bag. There'll be news on that shortly. That's all I'll say. They are coming. The story is confusing and filled with endless MacGuffins and the mumbo-jumbo while confining most of its best ideas to throwaway moments. The dialogue is full of endless exposition, but more often than not it makes things less clear. Well, one thing that's less clear, Stephen Silver of Tilt Magazine, is your profile picture, because my fucking god, mate, it's body, and I'm kinda glad it is. I'll leave it there. We're going to get into some more hopefully positive ones here. My Abdul Baki of Screen Rant. Of course, Screen Rant putting their own writer first, top of the pile. Shock horror. Had this to say: Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is solid overall. It's not what I was going for. May. I was going for hopefully better than solid, but we'll get into the review. If not particularly game changing, don't expect it to be. Don't expect this movie to be game changing. Never did. This is going to build on what we've already seen from the MCU. This is a fan service movie. Cameo laden, furthering the story, the trials or tribulations of Dr. Stephen Strange. That's all I expect from this movie. I don't expect it to be shaking me. I don't expect it to be a human condition movie. I don't expect any grandiose plot devices in here. I don't expect it from this movie. Not that kind of movie. Never going to be. If there's going to be a Marvel movie in the next 5 years doing that, it'll be Mahershala Ali's Blade movie, because he single-handedly took the plot to Marvel, pushing for its development, and he's got a great brain, Mahershala, so that's the kind of movie I'd expect to do it. But even when they try to do that, man, Chloe Zhao Eternal, she's fucking beat the bitches down, so I mean, they can't win. Real development, blah blah blah. The film is focused primarily, I'll go back, on its plot, that it forgets to give the characters, say for Wanda, any real development. The pacing moves quickly, and while there's never a boring moment, there are several points where the story could have slowed just a bit to allow for more relationship building amongst characters. Again, it's 2 hours and fucking 12 minutes long, this movie. It can't be slow. There's too much to tell. That simply would not be allowed. It's a major weak point in an otherwise serviceable movie. Again, that's not what I'm looking for, mate, but hey ho. The sequel, this is supposed to be positive for fuck's sake. The sequel introduces enough information to progress the MCU's future while telling a relatively close-ended story. But what sets Doctor Strange 2 apart are its aesthetic and horror elements, which makes one glad Raimi decided to helm it. Well, that's something, isn't it? I expect Raimi to bring the horror elements. This is what this guy's been known for. I spoke about the Evil Dead there. This is a guy who's well versed in that genre, and I expect him to do everything that Scott Derrickson would do, but do it better, because he's a better director than Scott Derrickson. Shock horror. Hello, Mike. Welcome in. Jokey Potter. I'm a bit of a jokester myself, Mike, so I'm sure we'll have that in common. I should start changing my fucking username up what you do, man. I've just got the same bland one I've had for like 8 years, I want to say. I need to do something different with that username. It's beige as hell. I'll just create a new account, because my current one is just a black hole of ASMR content. You go on my homepage and it's just scantily clad women brushing mics with makeup brushes. It's a bit weird. And guys doing it as well, funnily enough. Guys that don't wear makeup but have got an elaborate makeup brush set. That's the world of auto sensory meridian response, I think that's what you call it. Rabbit hole. Recently the MCU has prioritised... Is this same fucking... Right under this is Collider Ross Bonheim. I can't say these names. These names are fucking deranged. These critics have the most absurd names that you will ever come across in life. And look, we'll get into it. I mean, look, David Ehrlich, Dan Jolin. I mean, even the second name of Dan, he manages to do something. Gleiberman. Justin Change is about the most normal name here, LA Times. He's writing for the most esteemed publication. I should really be touching on his review first as opposed to actual Collider, who are a company founded by some bald-headed guy in his bedroom. But hey ho. We'll get into it. Recently, the MCU has prioritised stories that are more closed off and narrow in their scope, be it with shows like Moon Knight and Loki, or in films like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings and Black Widow, that focus on a specific part of this massive universe. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness goes in the opposite direction, attempting to tie together loose threads and show the scale and possibilities of this world, and the film just can't balance all of these many spinning plates effectively. While the MCU's interconnected nature was one of this universe's strengths, now it almost suffocates what Raimi is trying to do here. This is the dangers. I'm doing very well, Mike, very well indeed. Fully recovered from norovirus, I'm glad to say. That's a distant memory. I'm doing fantastic. Loving life, looking forward to this movie, despite what these negative Nancy's are saying in the reviews. I'll be the judge of whether it's a good movie. I know what I'm fucking talking about. These guys might know what they're talking about as well. They are critics. But just because they went to film school and they can speak fancy words doesn't mean they're better than me, or they have a more important opinion than me. I'll take what I get out of the movie, and that'll be what's right. Because the universe centres around me, clearly. Fucking hell. Narcissistic bitch that I am. This is the dangers when you do a movie like this. You balance multiverse concepts. It can be really opportunistic. You can have so much scope to do things with characters that have been, characters that are to come, characters that have never been and will never come, but pop up for a moment. I'm looking at you, Peggy Carter, as Captain Britain, potentially. There is so much potential with the concept, but also it can fall. It can implode within itself like a black hole. It is dangerous when you start balancing huge cosmic events like this. It can be the making or the breaking of this universe. I'm hoping still that it will be the making of this universe, that we will see real interesting stories being mined out of this. I'm going to get into this fucking movie. Cumberbatch has been speaking about this movie, how he sort of balanced the story, what he used as an anchor for this movie in this huge sort of entangled maniacal multiverse thing, and I found it so interesting what he came out and spoke about. But yeah, while the MCU's interconnected nature was one of, I've already read that, as a film that highlights Raimi's talents as both a director of distinct superhero stories and idiosyncratic horror tales, Doctor Strange works yet as a larger piece in the ever-expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Multiverse of Madness starts to show the cracks in trying to continually attempt to build and one-up what came before. Well, that ain't going to happen. You're not going to one-up Endgame and Infinity War and the Captain America trilogy. You're just not going to do it. They are generational movies, defining comic book spectacles. And to try and one-up those movies, that's not what they should be looking to accomplish. They should be looking to set the bar at that level once again. You're not going to eclipse them, but you can maybe equal them in a different way with different casts, different characters. There's much potential there even now. I'm not going to linger on this too long. I will get into Cumberbatch's take in this movie on his character, where he done, or what he did with it to try and anchor it in this movie. But I'll read Owen Gleiberman because I love that name. It sounds German, and I'm a bit of a Deutschophile, is that what you call it? I don't know. I love Germany. This guy might not, his name's Owen, he's probably fucking English or American with some faintest little German link, but I'll read it anyway. Variety, esteemed publication. The film was directed by Sam Raimi. Shock horror. I didn't know that, Owen. Thank you for educating me. Making his first movie in 9 years. I didn't know that. That's actually new information to me. The mediocre 2013 smash Oz the Great and Powerful. Didn't know that he'd done that movie. Didn't know that existed. You're educating me here, Owen. And in a number of scenes you feel the companionable spirit and shifting and majestic flair. Owen Gleiberman is clearly at one with English language. He's bringing out the big words. A majestic flair he showed in the first two Spider-Man films. It's amusing to see him feature the Illuminati as a kind of skewed reality superhero team, or stage a duel fought with literal musical notes, a scene in which Danny Elfman's Night on Bald Mountain meets Doom Rock score excels. Sounds interesting. Owen Wilson's performance generates an operatic fire even as she's styled like a barefoot mom soaked in Carrie White's blood. I'm really looking forward to Elizabeth Olsen's performance in this movie. It's one of the things that's really compelled me to get out my house and watch the movie in the first place on the biggest screen possible. As much as I enjoy Benedict Cumberbatch and Stephen Strange as a character, and I really, really enjoyed the first movie, WandaVision was one of the most interesting and artistic things I think Marvel have done in the last 10-15 years. Taking the concept of old black and white TV shows, of this being drilled into this young girl in the sort of Soviet Union days, and that's her escapist sort of thing, her suspension of disbelief from the horrors of her real life. I found that to be a really, really incredible thing that they did, and you're just balancing the mania, the sort of depressive grief with this futuristic alternate universe. I just thought that was something special, and then the anchor of that was obviously Vision and Wanda, Bettany and Olsen, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what she brings to this. Are we going to see the kids again? How is she going to bounce off of Strange? Is she going to be a villain in this in some form? Her character is the one that excites me, and it's why ultimately the negative review I read about her performance being, her character being the only one that gets real development, that ain't a negative to me. That's a fucking positive. You build on the compelling characters, and she certainly was one. Hello Happy Sports, welcome in. Thank you for joining me and commenting. Always appreciate it. So yeah, that excites me. Carrie White's blood. Always like to see blood. It's a horror movie. I may read Justin Change here, and then I'm going to fuck off and speak about Cumberbatch and what he's been saying. It's the LA Times. I feel like it's only right to balance out Screen Rant and Collider with Variety and LA Times. So let's see what he's got to say before I move on swiftly. Raimi's sheer passion for his material can sometimes overwhelm the coherence of his storytelling, and his unfashionable sincerity doesn't always mesh with the breezy quip-a-minute tone that is the Marvel Enterprise's preferred comedic idiom. I mean those both as compliments. Some overly busy cross-cutting and a few flubbed punchlines are a small price to pay for a filmmaker with enough of a vision to make you briefly forget that you're watching another assembly line product. You see, I don't like that, Justin. Another assembly line product. That's passive aggressiveness right there. And one little connected, it's not even a colon, what you can call it, I don't know. It's like a little connected phrase there. Assembly line product. You're demeaning the movies. What you're essentially saying there is that because it's a Marvel product, it's identical. We're going back to Denis Villeneuve's lines again. And I think that's the meaning of a guy who's got a career like Sam Raimi's. You think he would even get involved if he thought it was assembly line? You need to get away from this sort of blinkered bias that is just oppressive in Hollywood regarding these movies. Doesn't matter whether you like them or you hate them, you love them, it doesn't matter, that's neither here nor there. Step out, become impartial, that's what a good writer does, a good critique does. That's why Gianni and the blog and Dave and various writers we've had over the years, including myself, are as good as well. I can't even say that with a straight face, I'm not a good writer. That's what makes a good writer though, you have to take a step back and keep your bias out, and I feel like that's a little semblance of bias slipping in there. Assembly line product, I don't like that, don't like it at all. That may not sound terribly inspiring, but in the context of an overall series where movie magic seizes hold only in fits and starts, it can feel downright heroic. Look man, fucking intro again, wow. Look, as I've said, I try not to allow critics' views, their actual reviews, to blinker me, to shape me in terms of my anticipation for a movie, to shape my expectations going in to see a movie, to shape my opinion of a movie once I've been in the theatre and left. I try not to allow outside forces to rub off on me. Ultimately, my opinion on a movie is all that matters to me. I will use it as a sort of general, I'll use it as content to speak about in this fucking show, but ultimately when I go in and watch this movie in the theatres, I will go in with an open mind. And I will look forward to the cameos that are going to pop up. I'm sure that are in there. I'm hoping Tom Cruise is in there as a wicked dark Tony Stark. And what I really hope for, more than that, is just the continuation, without repeating myself, of Strange's story. Developing this character, because it is his movie. Ultimately, it has to be him who's furthered the most. I hope that they do develop Olsen's Wanda. They use this as a conduit for greater things for that character. But ultimately, it has to be about Stephen Strange, furthering him, furthering Wanda, furthering the multiverse concept, so we can get great stories that branch out from this, like a great family tree, if you like, or something like that. But I'm going to quickly touch on this, man, because this interested me quite a bit. Seeing how the mind of Cumberbatch works when he tackles a movie of this nature, a movie that's been described as overburdened by all of the different stuff happening, the weight, the expectancy of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a movie that's grandiose and it's trying to expand on various different ideas, whilst threading it all together. What's came before Loki, Multiverse, Spider-Man No Way Home, WandaVision. How an actor of this ilk takes that concept and condenses it into his character and makes his performance coherent within. I found this so interesting, how Cumberbatch makes it work, and this is what he had to say regarding his character in Multiverse of Madness. I think it's the same but different, and he was speaking to Hollywood Reporter incidentally. You have to get a correlation so you know you're watching an iteration that basically through perhaps chooses or circumstance and environment has had a different outcome. But it's a nice sort of loop feeding into self-discovery and self-therapy for the character that we know from our universe as to how he betters his choices or the situation. So it's a fun thing to explore. It's one of the paradoxes that a multiversal narrative will throw up, and I was excited by that challenge. The concept of this guy taking multiverse, taking various iterations of his character, playing 3-4 different versions of Stephen Strange in this movie, maybe an evil version, maybe a distinctly different, sort of ambivalent version, and how he uses that as self-discovery, how he uses that to fuel his performance. I found that very, very interesting indeed. And I will be looking out for that in this movie. Where Strange is at the start and where he is at the end. How these interactions with these malevolent versions of himself shapes him. Because that'd be something I'd love to see. It'd be fucked up, but I'd like to see a version of myself that's went down a different path. And you can learn from that. Some good and bad. I find that so interesting. It's something I didn't even think about. Strange in this movie. Discovering himself within the multiverse. The various different dark and good visions of himself. Different versions of characters. How that's going to shape him as an individual. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to see in this movie. Development of this character. And I found that very interesting. But look, I digress, man. If I get anything else to say, just briefly this, man. He's speaking again. Cumberbatch speaking to Extra. About the future and his aspirations moving forward from this movie. And he had this to say, brief, which is good. I really can't wait to see what the fan reaction is to this and where it takes Strange. But I think it sets him up for a really exciting future. Well, I mean, but again, you're talking about him going on a journey here, an existential journey, seeing different versions of himself, and it may be shaping them for good and bad. I think this may be a movie that makes him, catapults him into being a leader figure in some newfound Avengers ensemble moving forward into future movies. Because look, Peter Parker, Tom Holland's future in the balance. We still don't know how many movies this guy's going to have over the course of the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years with Marvel. Could he be brought over to the Spider-Verse that Sony are creating? Is he a character that you can build this universe around for multiple phases? I don't know if he is. You've got Cumberbatch. He's an esteemed actor. I love personality. He's playing one of the OG characters from the comics. You shape this character, continue to take him away from this hubristic, ego-centric, arrogant character into something who could be a leader. This guy's fucking vision, his story moving forward could be like that of Tony Stark. The way he changes, the way he becomes a completely different man at the end of it. Something that I love with Tony, and it's something I'd love to see with this. And it's something that the critics conveniently forget when they speak about assembly line movies. They don't see the greater overarching stories. They don't see the evolution of characters within this world over 10 years, not just one movie. Because they don't give a shit. But wait, man, one sort of blockbuster movie to another. This movie coming out, this is not the fucking, by the way, this is not bear with me, that was not the topic I was going to touch about. It's not Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I'll bring it up. Is it going to change? Have I fucked this up? I don't know. Will I be able to use a topic bar? It looks like I will not be able to use a topic bar, so I'll just speak about the actual thing itself, unless I have chosen the wrong thing. Nope, I'm not going to be using a topic bar. Essentially, it's Avatar. Surprise reactions to Avatar 2 in its trailer. I presume dropped. It was dropped at a premiere event for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I've got Into the Spider-Verse in my head now. And people have been reacting to the first looks at Jim Cameron's sequel to the #1 grossing movie of all time at the box office, of course, Avatar. And very positive reactions. Very, very positive indeed. Of course, The Way of Water just fucking conjures up images of Bruce Lee for me. Be water, my friend. And I'm going to get into them. I'm going to get into some of the actual reactions. There's not many there, so I'm not going to linger too long. Well, there's quite a few. I'll not linger too long though. I'm going to get into them because this is a movie that intrigues me on a number of levels. Can conjure these sort of lightning in a bottle zeitgeist effect that the first movie did back in 2009, I believe. Can James once again capture the imaginations of multiple demographics, get them into the theatres? Can he once again catapult one of his movies into the top 5, 4, 3 in the box office? Because this guy has got a number of movies right up there. He's a box office machine. He's an innovator, much in the same way as a Favreau or something like that. He will always be at the cutting edge of technology, of making these big advanced blockbuster movies. And it's very complex, man. We've seen it with James Wan. We've seen it with Aquaman. using water, how that impacts on characters, be it live action, be it CGI. It's very fucking difficult to animate and make believable. So the fact that he has felt it necessary to go to the water on Pandora, it's going to be so fucking interesting to see how he makes this movie and how it's going to turn out, how it's going to connect with the audiences. Almost forgotten in pop culture, this movie. So look, I'll get into it. Josh Parham has had this to say. He's seen the trailer, the lucky bastard. I don't know if this trailer's out now, by the way. This may be out on the Tinterweb now. I may have missed it. But this is what I had to say. Saw the new trailer for Avatar, The Way of Water, and it definitely looks gorgeous. That's a basic necessity of a James Cameron movie. They should always look gorgeous. That's a given when it's Jim Cameron working on a movie. I can't wait to see the full vision from a master like James Cameron, ready for the world to be reminded of what 3D can accomplish. And he's certainly one to do it. Excited for December. It comes out December. I never assumed that this movie would be 3D. I just thought, yeah, first Avatar was 3D. I didn't realise or even assume that he was going to continue that with the sequels, but it does make sense. It's a sort of 3D adventure. A large part in the success of the first movie was this sort of enigma of 3D. How does it look? That's what drew people out to experience it again and again and again. It was a sort of, yeah, I'm trying to think what the word is for that, and I'm blanking on it for some reason. It was like a cult of 3D, and then other movies picked up on it. George Lucas picked up on it and tried to remaster the prequel trilogy. We went and seen one. It was pretty fucking cool, I have to say. And then it died a death. So can he reinvigorate 3D as well? That'll be interesting. That's another question. Clayton Davis, he stands with Ukraine, by the way, as all good, like-minded people should. Good-minded people. Righteous people. Fuck Vladimir Putin. Watched Avatar, The Way of Water. I'm going to end up getting done in, man. Somebody's going to chat my door with fucking a nerve agent, and I'm going to end up dead, man. You'll not see me again. I need to stop coming after Vlad and the KGB. They're obsessed with Britain just now. If Trust doesn't get his nuked, then if there's KGB agents watching me, then I'll get his fucking nuked. There'll be a tidal wave of radioactivity coming my way, man. I'm fucked. Sorry, Vlad. Watched the Avatar Way of Water teaser trailer in 3D. So it is in 3D. That will play in front of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So I will get to see this trailer on Thursday. I don't know if I'll get to see it in 3D though, because it will be a 2D showing I will be going to. Stunning visuals, as can be expected. Pretty sure I picked out Stephen Lang. I was giddy. Okay. I like Stephen Lang as well. I don't know if I'd be giddy to see him in a trailer, but different strokes for different folks. Unsure if I saw Kate Winslet Underwater World could be a treat. Well, Kate Winslet was out speaking about it. A huge fucking set. Almost like a small city. Actual pools in there. She learned to hold her breath. It's going to be very exciting. The balance of practical and CGI. It's something that Jim has been renowned for over the years. Very exciting to see how he accomplishes it. I'm really excited to see this trailer as well. I have to say. It's going to be... He's seen it 10 times. So how the fuck's that even possible? If it's playing before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of is the fucking trailer out, man? I need to know if this trailer is out. I don't know. I'm going to search it up afterwards. If you could have seen it 10 times. Unless you've seen Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 10 times already. It's not even fucking out yet. What are we talking about here, mate? I don't know. Duat, I don't know how you say that name. He had this to say, Mr. Miller was able to watch the Avatar The Way of Water trailer early, and it looks absolutely incredible. Seriously, some of the best visual effects that I've ever seen. So ready for December. Inject that into my veins. This is what I'm talking about when people write off James Cameron. People says at the time when Endgame took the crown, and obviously Disney re-released Avatar to give it the crown back so it could then promote this as the sequel to the #1 greatest grossing movie of all time at the box office. I says at the time, you cannot write James Cameron off. This guy is a fucking god of cinema. You never ever ever say that Avatar was okay, it was a Ferngully remake. That means it's fell out of pop culture. It's too late for the sequels. That means this is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a flop. You never write this man off. It could be something special. It really could. I've been watching this guy's movies my entire fucking life. He knows what he's doing. And I'm excited for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm fucking looking forward to this movie. There was a point where Star Wars was dominating December. And I was like, how can Avatar even go into December now? Star Wars is dead as a movie franchise. It's gone. It should just stick to TV. And now there's an open door for Avatar in December. How times change in a couple of years. Matt Neglia. I'm curious as well, Mike. I'm curious to see. That's one movie where I actually may listen to the critics and see what they say before it comes out. I can't wait. I can't wait to December because my job is just carnage in December. I can wait to hear Most Wonderful Time of the Year and Mariah Carey. I'm quite happy to wait. But it'll be interesting when that time comes to see what the reviews are saying. Saw the Avatar, and just to prefix that, I nearly had a nervous breakdown in November time. It was a bad time for me. I'm in no rush. Saw the Avatar 2 trailer in IMAX 3D. You lucky bastard. IMAX 3D. And it certainly looks dazzling. Features many breathtaking shots of Pandora, particularly water effects. Backed by a gorgeous score, R.I.P. James Horner. James Horner. Where does that ring a bell? James Horner, was that the guy that done Braveheart? That died in a plane crash? How's that work then? Are they using the original score? Obviously they are, it's not been scored yet, I'd presume. That's fucking weird. Yeah, he died, yeah. Did he score Avatar? I didn't know that. I'm fucking learning things all the time tonight. I forgot how mesmerising 3D can be when used properly. I'm ready for James Cameron. Look, this is the thing as well about 3D. A lot of sort of people tagged along for that, and they were just putting it out with 3D in front of it. It's just to build off the sort of buzz of Avatar. When it's made specifically for 3D, it is special. It really is. Avatar was a special movie experience in 3D goodness. Not so much on a TV, because then it's just a story, and it's a Ferngully remake in an alien world. But no Robin Williams. He was in that, wasn't he? I think he played a bat. I don't know. Rambling here. Manda Spectre, this is the last one I'm going to read. I don't think that even I can rip the fucking arse out of reactions to an Avatar trailer this long. It may be time to step aside onto the last topic of the show. Manda had this to say. I'm going to pick Manda because she's got a banana or a moon, crescent moon, instead of a blue tick, and that's good enough for me. The Avatar trailer is absolutely stunning. And that is a moon, by the way. My fucking eyes are gone. It was worth the wait because of how advanced the technology is. New characters to look forward to and what seems to be an interesting story. Really looking forward to this after watching the trailer. That's something that I never even spoke about and that never even entered my mind. The rationale behind the delays of the sequels. We've seen like Sir George Lucas speaking about biding his time to make the prequels for Star Wars. Waiting until the likes of Spielberg done Jurassic Park, and then he realised the technology was there and that he could utilise it for his movies. That's something that I never even thought about. I've been speaking about it tonight already. James Cameron being an innovator of cinema, always being at the cutting edge of technology and film when producing these big blockbuster movies. He done it with Titanic, he's done it with Avatar, he's done it with fucking everything. Terminator. How it never crossed my mind that he's deliberately waited 10, 12, 13 years to make these movies because the technology he needed to make a believable waterscape or just evolve this story on a sort of technical level wasn't there. It all makes sense when you actually read it, and maybe he has deliberately waited until the technology has caught up so that he can now do them justice, and maybe just to make sure the story's there and it's coherent. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. I'm intrigued to see how, and I'm just fucking, in the back of my head now, I'm still baffled how those fucking graphic bars are not there, because I fucking done them. I actually typed them out and saved them. So where have they went to? Maybe they've went into a black hole. I'll just keep bringing black holes up tonight. Maybe they've disappeared. That's the kind of brain I've got. I'll be away speaking for 10 minutes and then I'll go back. It's like, what the fuck happened? Where are they? Come on, fuck, PC. You're doing me wrong here. But yeah, man, I'm intrigued to see how it's going to play out. Could it be a big 1-point-something billion grossing movie again? Can James hit the gold mine again? Can it be a commercial success and a critical success? Can it tick all the demographic boxes, get people flooding to the theatres? Can it reinvigorate 3D again? It'll be so fucking interesting. Can the Na'vi, can Pandora become a pop cultural sort of mainstay? more so than what it did before. I'm continuing to press these fucking graphic bars, even though I know they don't exist. Force of habit. I'm ending on this though. John Wick. I spoke about John Wick last night. It was Keanu Reeves, of course, we touched on nabbing a secret role in the MCU. We don't know which one it is. I says, I pined that I would like it to be Dracula. That I would like to see Keanu Reeves playing the villain in Mahershala Ali's Blade movie. Just because he's got the haircut for it, he's got the cheekbones for it. He's a big, tall, gaunt guy. He's not quite Peter Cushing gaunt, and he's not gaunt. I don't know why I says that. He's a lean guy. And I just feel that he could play Dracula very well. And I want to see a dark side to Keanu. Where am I going with this? We spoke about Keanu. We had someone in the chat last night who sadly I forgot whose name. I forgot already, man. I do apologise. But he came in and he also mentioned the fact that, yeah, Keanu probably has to step away from action movies because he's getting a bit slow now. And it was obvious in some of his previous movies. Well, I'm out speaking about John Wick 4 tonight. And, yeah, maybe the end for Keanu in this franchise, because as you can see here, a good continuation but teasing a conclusion. I was of the understanding that there was back-to-back sequels getting made for this. There would be 4 and 5 getting made, but we're getting a Continental spin-off. I don't know if that's happening now. I'm going to bow to the greater knowledge of Chad Stahelski with this franchise. What about Family Man remaining episodes? When are they coming out? They are coming out very, very soon indeed. Dibiendo, there will be an announcement regarding that tomorrow. Coming very soon. I'm going to get editing after this. But there will be I don't want to have the cat. I don't want to let the cat out the bag, if you like. But it's coming very, very soon indeed. You'll be pleased. Believe me. We were certainly pleased. We've watched the last 2 episodes that we've not covered. So what would that be? 7 and 8. Very, very good. Really, really enjoyed 7 in particular. And 8. Just enjoying the story, enjoying where they're taking Shri, where they're taking the wife. But we'll get into that when we actually do the reaction. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see my thoughts if you can understand me. And I don't have to speak in my posh Charles accent again. But they're coming. But yeah, John Wick 4, man. Stahelski's been out speaking about the movie. He's been also talking about production delays, Reeves' commitment to Matrix Resurrections. It's set to hit the theatres next spring. This is what the man had to say. They obviously premiered footage at CinemaCon, as they did for a lot of movies at CinemaCon. I've not been privy to that because I'm not one of the select few that actually gets to go to Las Vegas and watch movies early. Lucky bastards. And this is what he had to say, Stahelski. I just like to go to Vegas, period, to be honest with you. I don't even care about watching the fucking movies. I just want to go there to get absolutely rattled on drink and just blow money. Yeah. There's no other reason to go to Vegas, really, for me. If you can watch movies early, that's a nice little add-on. But yeah, one of these days I'll just go to Vegas and fucking lose my mind for like a week, and it'll be good. Are you excited for Strange? I'm very excited for Doctor Strange. If you go back and watch the start of this show, man, you will see me probably repeating that too much. Very, very excited. Anticipation of the charts. Just keep repeating the same thing again and again. But yeah, I'm really excited for it, man. It's a couple of days away. Looking forward to it. The continuing adventures of Mr. Cumberbatch and Stephen Strange. Looking forward to it. Although the reviews are mixed, to say the least. So that's slightly concerning, but fucking bitches. I'll take my opinion on it. Stahelski had this to say: I think Chapter 4 is a good continuation of all 3 previous films. And it's got a bit of a conclusion to it, which is great. Is it, Chad? Is the studio happy about the conclusion? Because I think they see a nest egg here that can last a decade. I don't think they want to give up on the Wick movies just yet. You can't rename it Gene Wick, can you? And cast Margot Robbie, like they're doing in Pirates of the Caribbean. We introduced a ton of new characters that have a lot to say about John Wick, from his past and from obviously, and from, what the fuck's that English? From his past and from obviously present. That is really, really weird. I've not watched a single episode of Moon Knight, Mike. Not a single fucking episode, man. I created a logo to do reactions, and we just decided, you know what, man, we've got too much going on with reactions. We just bailed on it. I'm going to binge it because I've heard it is absolutely dynamite. Moon Knight. I've heard Isaac's actually really good. It's dark, it's twisted. I've heard the Egypt stuff is next level. So I'm going to watch it just back to back to back to back to back. I'm really fucking looking forward to it. Totally different, isn't it? We've not had anything like this before in Marvel. This sort of stuff that they're doing in that, by all accounts, quite dark and creepy and yeah, weird. Looking forward to it. And his suit's so cool, man. His get up, I love it. It's like a mummy. It's fucking cool as hell. If I'm reading right, that is like a mummy, isn't it? He's kind of wrapped. It's got that sort of tennis racket rapping sort of vibe to it. Looks interesting. Yeah, I'm going to binge it. I've not seen a single episode. I keep saying I need to go and watch this. I need to watch this. I need to watch this. It's nearly fucking done, and I've still not watched it. This is what I'm like when I get to the end of shows, usually. If I don't react to something, it just never gets finished. It's like, no, I need to watch that finale. I never do. I've still not finished. What was it I didn't finish? What was the last one? There was Millennium. And then we had, what was the fucking last one I done? Fuck me. The one we smoked me a kipper with Red Dwarf. That was the last one. Just stopped watching it. I think I missed the last 2 episodes. Never went back. That was about 6 years ago. So yeah, it's a problem for me. But I'll get it watched. I'll binge it. Where was I? From his past, blah blah blah. I think it's brotherhood, it's hope. It's what the life would really be like as a bit of an existential crisis with John. And I think that's the fun part of a movie. Of the movie. That's what it's ending. But there's a good conclusion to an emotional thread that we've already had. You see, I think he's playing with words there when he says conclusion. I think what he's saying is there's an existential crisis with John. John's been hounded, i.e. Wick, through the 3 movies. It obviously started with his wife, the gift of the puppy gets killed. That brings him back into the game. There's hits. He's getting chased with every fucking assassin on the planet. He's not had a chance to breathe, this character, and I think he is having a bit of an existential crisis. Can he continue doing this forever? I think they will clean that up. They will conclude that arc, and then we'll have a more calmer Wick who can maybe pop into the odd movie and out, into a spin-off show and out. I don't think Keanu can keep this up, man. A movie every 2 years, 3 years for the next decade. He is getting older, and it saddens me greatly, because I always subscribe to the Keanu as a model sort of thing, where you find photographs from like 100 years ago, paintings from like 600 years ago, and it's fucking Keanu Reeves in like the French Resistance era with a beret and a beard, and he looks the same as he fucking does just now. Sadly though, it's becoming more and more clear to me it shouldn't be a surprise that Keanu is aging, and that worries me. Thankfully though, I've still got Paul Rudd to cling on to, because that man's not aged. He looks the fucking same as he did 25, 30 years ago in Friends. It's not 30 years ago, 25 years ago. 20 years ago. He ain't aged. So there's a couple still there. Liv Tyler ain't aged. So we've still got a couple to cling on to. But Keanu, I think we've lost Keanu to further time. He's finally got his claws into him. And it don't look good. So we need to ease off in Keanu. The action's aging him. And I don't want it. As much as I like John Wick, I want Keanu to remain immortal. So we need to lay off the action. So I'm fine with conclusions. In terms of this franchise, man, I've really enjoyed it. I've had a great time with all the movies. The first movie for me, still the best. Just simplistic action at its absolute best. Simplistic little revenge story. The scene in the sort of fucking club where he's hunting down your man, Alfie Allen or whatever he's called, playing a terrible Russian son with a terrible Russian accent. Hunting him down, just like I'm going to get hunted down with the KGB if I keep going after Vladimir Putin. It was a brilliant little story. I loved the ending. It was just simple. The second one, obviously built on it. It created this mythos of this underground world, this criminality world. The Continental, you had all of this stuff getting dabbled with. It was interesting. The third one seemed to combine both those elements. You had that great scene, I think it was in Casablanca or whatever the fuck it was, with the dogs. It's been a franchise. It's been a sort of... I've enjoyed it a lot. I've been to see all the movies bar the first one in the theatres, and I have enjoyed it. It's been a sort of guilty pleasure of mine going to see these movies, and I do enjoy Keanu as a man and as an actor. Is he the second coming of Daniel Day-Lewis? Absolutely fucking not. He can be wooden as hell at times, but he does what he does very well, and that's playing an action man like that. Or yeah, something simple. Don't give him too many words to speak. But yeah, there has to be an end. just like there has to be an end to this show, because time's going on. That's nearly an hour. 3 topics. Wow. How the fuck have I stretched this out an hour? Only I know the answer to that. But I tell you what, I hear the rain battering off the window outside, and I need to walk my dog in that. And then I have to get into editing Family Man. So I'm going to sign off on that note. There has to be an end to John Wick, but I'm looking forward to 4. I'm looking forward to seeing what Stahelski gives us, because I've enjoyed the other ones. What's your thoughts, man? What is your thoughts on that headline? Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Reviews are out. They're calling it unique but frantic. What's your thoughts on the reviews? Mixed. Let's get back to Rotten Tomatoes one last time, because I says that's the kind of fucking content I'm giving on this show tonight. I'm giving you a blow-by-blow update on the Rotten Tomatoes score, the tomato meter score, every 40 minutes. I checked, it was 81%, it went down to 78. It's now up to 79. Was it 79 before? I don't fucking know. It was 79 before. It's hovering around about 79%, 80% this movie. What's your thoughts on it? Is that something that's impacting your anticipation going into this movie? Have you got fears about the criticisms coming out in the reviews? It's bloated. It's being burdened under the weighty expectations of this multiverse story. You can comment down below if you've got anything to say about that. You can comment down below if you've got anything to say about the other 2 topics that I touched upon. Avatar, the Way of the Water trailer out. People gushing over it. Absolutely gushing over the trailer. Potentially another James Cameron bit of magic coming up in December to go along with the magic of Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year if you're not a courier like me. And even then, it's still the most wonderful time of the fucking year, because I can rattle champagne and drink for a good few days on the bounce, and that's when I'm at my happiest. You can comment down below about that. You can also comment down below about John Wick 4. Whatever your thoughts are on it, you can comment down below. You can like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs, hit the follow button over on Twitch and the notification thing over there. Even now I don't know what the fuck it is. I think you just hit follow, and then you've got a drop down thing, and you can select all notifications, and it'll inform you when we go live. You can do that over there. Regardless of what you do though, thank you for coming in and watching. Thank you very much for the comments. We do appreciate the sort of love for Family Man and the reactions. There will be news coming out tomorrow regarding that. That's all I'll say. I will leave it to Stephen. I will bestow him with the burden of sharing said news, because I'll be working. Stephen will be working as well, but Stephen's work, he can actually do it, whereas I can't do it. So I'll let Stephen share that news. I'm done, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye bye. Yes, Stephen, unique but frantic. I don't know what to make of that. Unique but frantic. What does that even mean? Did they cancel each other out? Can you be frantic? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Bye.